Your 20s will be over before you realize it, and most people waste them chasing things that don't matter. By the time they hit 30, they look back with regret, wondering why nobody told them the truth. What if I told you that everything you think matters right now probably doesn't, and the things you're ignoring will define the rest of your life? And this isn't just my opinion. This is what the science says. Probably you're 22, fresh out of college, or maybe a few years into your first real job. Everyone around you seems to have it figured out. Your friend just got promoted. Someone from high school is getting married. Your Instagram feed is full of people traveling, buying cars, living their best lives. And there you are, eating instant noodles at midnight, wondering if you're falling behind. You feel this crushing pressure to have your life together, to know exactly who you are and where you're going. But here's the uncomfortable truth nobody talks about. Most of those people are just as lost as you are. They're just better at pretending. Research from Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck shows that people who appear most confident are often just better at hiding their uncertainty, not better at eliminating it. The real tragedy isn't that you don't have it all figured out. The tragedy is that you're spending your 20s trying to look successful instead of actually building success. You're working jobs you hate because they sound impressive. You're staying in relationships that drain you because you're afraid of being alone. You're buying things you can't afford to impress people who don't care. And worst of all, you're saying yes to everything and everyone except yourself. Harvard's 85-year grant study, the longest study on happiness ever conducted, found that the biggest regret people have isn't what they did, it's what they didn't do because they were too busy trying to meet other people's expectations. Every day that passes, you feel this nagging anxiety that you're running out of time, that you're making the wrong choices, that you're wasting the best years of your life. And you know what? That fear is justified, but not for the reasons you think. Chapter 1. Your 20s are for experimenting. Let me tell you something that will either liberate you or terrify you. Your 20s are supposed to be messy. Neuropsychologist Meg J., author of The Defining Decade, says that 80% of life's most defining moments happen by age 35. Think of yourself as a scientist running experiments. Some will succeed, most will fail, and that's exactly the point. You try the corporate job and realize you hate cubicles. Experiment successful, data collected. You start a side hustle that crashes and burns. Experiment successful, lesson learned. Stanford psychologist B.J. Fogg's research on behavior change shows that trying and failing teaches your brain more than never trying at all. The people who waste their 20s are the ones too afraid to experiment. They play it safe, follow the script, and then wake up at 35 wondering why they feel so unfulfilled. Your 20s are your permission slip to be a beginner, to suck at things, to change your mind. Albert Einstein once said, "A person who never made a mistake never tried anything new." You're not building your final life yet. You're gathering the raw materials. Chapter 2. Choose your circle like your life depends on it. Here's a hard pill to swallow. You are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. This isn't just folk wisdom. Harvard psychologist Dr. David McClelland found that your reference group determines as much as 95% of your success or failure in life. Your social circle literally rewires your brain. That friend who mocks your ambitions. They're scared you'll outgrow them, and guess what? You probably will. That relationship where you have to shrink yourself to fit. That's not love, that's a cage. Psychologist John Gottman, who can predict with 94% accuracy whether a relationship will last, found that the number one predictor isn't compatibility, it's whether your partner supports your dreams and personal growth. Stop dating potential. Stop staying with someone because you've already invested time. 2 years with the wrong person is still 2 years you can't get back. Find people who are building something. Find people who read, who question, who aren't satisfied with mediocrity. As motivational speaker Jim Rohn said, you are the average of the 5 people you spend the most time with. Because here's the truth, you can't soar with eagles if you're surrounded by pigeons. Chapter 3. Build your foundation now. Nobody wants to hear this because it's not sexy, but your boring habits in your 20s create your freedom in your 30s and beyond. James Clear, author of Atomic Habits, found that habits compound exponentially. Getting 1% better every day makes you 37 times better in a year. Money habits. You don't need to be rich, but you need to be smart. A study by Fidelity Investments found that a 25-year-old who invests $200 a month until retirement will have more money than someone who starts at 35 and invests $400 a month. That's the power of compound interest. Every dollar you invest in your 20s works harder than $10 you invest in your 40s. Health routines. Right now, your body forgives everything. You can eat garbage, skip sleep, and still function. That ends. Research published in the Journal of the American Heart Association found that habits formed in your 20s predict your health outcomes in your 40s and 50s better than genetics. The way you treat your body now determines your quality of life later. Basic stability. A study from Princeton found that financial stress reduces cognitive capacity by 13 IQ points. You can't chase your dreams when you're drowning in credit card debt. The most successful people I know aren't the ones who looked impressive in their 20s. They're the ones who quietly built systems while everyone else was chasing validation. Chapter 4. Explore, learn, and become independent. Your career in your 20s is not about finding the perfect job. It's about collecting skills, experiences, and proof that you can create value. Research from LinkedIn found that professionals who changed jobs 4 or more times in their first decade earned 20% more than those who stayed in one place. Stop obsessing over job titles. Start obsessing over what you're learning. Learn skills that compound. Writing, speaking, sales, building things. Economist David Deming found that jobs requiring social skills have grown by 12% since 1980. While those requiring only technical skills have declined. And develop independence. The most powerful thing you can develop in your 20s is the confidence that you can handle whatever life throws at you. Maya Angelou said it perfectly. You may not control all the events that happen to you, but you can decide not to be reduced by them. True independence isn't just financial. It's emotional, intellectual, and practical. It's knowing that no matter what happens, you'll be okay because you've proven to yourself that you're capable. Chapter 5. Take risks and play the long game. Your 20s are when you have the most time and the least to lose. Behavioral economist Dan Ariely found that people's biggest regrets aren't the risks they took, but the risks they didn't take. This is your window to take big swings. But here's the key: take risks, but stay consistent with the fundamentals. Big risks with your career, calculated risks with your money, zero risks with your character and health. And understand this: success isn't a sprint, it's compound interest on good decisions. Charles Duhigg, author of The Power of Habit, found that people who master one keystone habit see improvement across multiple areas of their lives without even trying. The workout you skip doesn't matter. The 100 workouts you skip create the body you hate. Research from University College London found it takes 66 days on average to form a habit, but the benefits compound for decades. Small habits compound. Small disciplines compound. Small investments compound. You won't see results tomorrow or next week or even next year. But look back in a decade, and the difference between who you could have been and who you became comes down to what you did consistently when nobody was watching. As Aristotle said, we are what we repeatedly do. Excellence, then, is not an act, but a habit. Here's where everything clicks. Your 20s are not about having it all figured out. They're about becoming the kind of person who can figure anything out. Stanford psychologist Carol Dweck's research on growth mindset proves that people who see challenges as opportunities to learn outperform those with fixed mindsets by every measure. They're not about avoiding mistakes. They're about making mistakes fast, learning faster, and refusing to make the same mistake twice. The moment you stop comparing your chapter 1 to someone else's chapter 20, everything changes. The moment you understand that your 20s are an investment, not a destination, you stop wasting time on things that don't compound. So what actually matters in your 20s? Experimentation over perfection, growth over comfort, foundation over flash, skills over titles, character over reputation, progress over comparison, the courage to try and the wisdom to learn, the discipline to build and the patience to wait. Research from the Harvard Grant study confirms it. The quality of your relationships, your willingness to learn, and your ability to adapt determine your life satisfaction more than money, fame, or social class. Your 20s are the most important decade of your life, not because of what you achieve, but because of who you become. Every choice you make is either building the life you want or the life you'll settle for. And here's the beautiful part: it's never too late to start. Whether you're 22 or 29, you still have time. But that time is finite, and it's ticking away right now. 10 years from now, you'll be in your 30s. You'll look back at this moment, right now, and you'll either thank yourself or you'll wish you could go back and shake yourself awake. The person you're becoming is being built in the daily choices nobody sees. In the book you read instead of scrolling. In the workout you did when you were tired. In the uncomfortable conversation you had instead of avoiding. Bronnie Ware, who spent years with dying patients, recorded their top 5 regrets. Number 1. I wish I'd had the courage to live a life true to myself, not the life others expected of me. Your 20s are not a dress rehearsal. This is your life, happening right now. Stop waiting for permission. Stop waiting for perfect. As Stephen Covey said, I am not a product of my circumstances. I am a product of my decisions. The people who wait for certainty stay stuck forever. The people who move forward despite uncertainty become unstoppable. So here's what I want you to do right now. Think about one thing, just one thing, that you know you should be doing but you've been avoiding. Maybe it's having a hard conversation. Maybe it's starting that project. Maybe it's changing that habit. Whatever it is, commit to it. Not tomorrow, not next week, today, right now. And if this resonated with you, hit that subscribe button because we're just getting started. Drop a comment and tell me, what's the one thing you're committing to change in your 20s? Let's build something together.